Master Warren and Goodman Winslow.
You said that on the banner.
Oh, you'll not be with you today, sir.
And with you as well, my neighbor.
Okay, here we go.
Is our covenanted congregation, the Church of God at New Plymouth. Those of my neighbors who say they are still of the Church of England, and I do have some, and some say they are Puritan. Well, you know they are still part of the Church of England. Puritans, oh, they've gotten rid of crosses and statues and stained glass investments and such, but they still follow much of the same ritual, which is why they were not persecuted in England the way we were. They are not allowed to organize here. We don't consider them criminal for not being part of our congregation, but what would be criminal is if they tried to organize their church here. And the final rule of our church is that everyone here, whether you are of our congregation or not, you must keep the Lord's Day and worship with us on Sunday. Everyone over the age of 14. Now we keep our Sabbath here from sundown on Saturday until sundown on Sunday. Now the Lord's Day on Sunday is the only holy day we keep here in all of the year. Oh, there are those that say, but Master Fuller, we must celebrate Christ Mass on the 5 and 20 of December. Taking yourself from the King, his church would make you criminal. Why would you do that? Well, you must understand that I had been a faithful member of the King, his church for many years. But in the Church of England, in the city of London, it's the only place where preachers are allowed to preach from their hearts and from their heads. You get out in the countryside where I lived most of my life, and there the preachers must read from the book of homilies, and you get to the end and they start again. So in the countryside you never hear anything new. Just more than the Papist Church without the Pope. For when Henry VIII wanted an annulment from his first wife and went to the Pope, and the Pope said, "Nay, I cannot give you an annulment, for I gave you a dispensation so you could marry her, for she was your brother's widow." Well, then finally Henry in his frustration said, "Well, then I do not need you. I will be the head of my church." But that's all he changed it. He kept the vestments and the ritual and the hierarchy and the cathedrals, and well, you will find none of that in Scripture. So we felt the only way we could truly worship according to the word of the Lord is to completely separate ourselves. And that is why we had to take ourselves from England and go and put ourselves in exile in the Netherlands. Now, when we first settled in the Netherlands, we settled in the city of Amsterdam. But we weren't there very